another 31 Days of Horror 2019 video. Toronto After Dark edition, the second film of the festival. Yes, I managed to get out to at least two. Yes. And we went to Canada. Yes. A Canadian film shot up north near Sudbury in the wintertime. Holy crap. The film is called Witches in the Woods, and it is essentially one of those films. It doesn't necessarily tread new ground. It deals with the whole, is it supernatural? Is it really happening? Is it in their heads? Is it, figment of their imagination? Is it, those type of things where you don't know if it, it's stuff is happening, but you don't know the why. Is it supernatural or is it just, natural? And of course it says Witches in the Woods, and that deals with, the witch trials, and it references, technically it's shot in Canada up north, but it's supposed to be down, I guess, in Massachusetts, not in Salem. It deals with witch trials that happened outside of Salem, where some girls, one girl ended up, having essentially convulsions or seizures or something like that, and was hallucinating. So the priest deemed her possessed by Satan, and then more girls started falling to the same type of ailment. So they ended up hanging 12 women for being witches, essentially. I don't know if this is an actual real life event case, but that's what it is in the movie. And they go to this area, and they're essentially driving. It's a bunch of, I guess, university kids driving to go skiing, snowboarding, and they can't go the way they were supposed to because a logging truck has overturned. So they decide, okay, we'll go around, and somebody goes, hey, I know a shortcut. I've been around these areas so many times. We just go through this, and it's essentially not a road. It's a private property area with a no trespassing sign. And he's like, no, you just take this out, and then it takes you to like a logging road or something like that, and that'll take you out, and eventually it's just put you out on the other side, so you don't have to go all the way around. So of course they decide, and they go off-roading, we'll say, in their truck. And as one can imagine, they get stuck, and it's winter, and bad stuff happens. This film is directed by Jordan Barker. Now, Jordan took this film, he was there, and he said he took this film because he liked the script. He liked the idea behind it, and so it's something that really kind of talked to him. So I had never heard anything about this guy before, hadn't seen anything, so when I looked him up, he did the film from The Marsh in 2006, Duress in 2009, and Torment in 2013. Now, I have heard of Torment, but I haven't seen it. Based off of what I saw him do in this film, I would definitely like to check out his other works. The film is written by Christopher Borelli, and this is what sold the director on it. He read this particular script. And Christopher has written a few things, including the 2007 film Whisper. This probably isn't a good thing. The Marine 2. And he also did the Vatican Tapes and Eloise. So, not a lot behind either of these guys' belts, but what they've managed to do is out there and entertaining. So, if you happen to like something that they've done previously and you've seen it, maybe you'll like this film. Now, the film, like I said, is a bunch of teenagers. First is Jill. She's kind of like the main girl, played by Hannah Kasulka, who I didn't recognize her personally, but she has been in quite a few little ditties here and there, including 2013's Prank, and of course some television stuff. But I think some people will probably know her from the 2016 TV movie The Cheerleader Murders. Or if you've seen the Exorcist television show, she plays Casey Rance. She is joined by, trying to think. There's so many different guys in this thing. I think, yes, Derek is her boyfriend, and that's played by Craig Arnold. Again, similar type deal with him. He's not somebody I recognized, but he has been in quite a few things that I've actually seen, but only in like one-offs in one episodes. Where he has probably most well known is because he was in Degrassi: The Next Generation as Luke Baker. So if you watch that, that's probably where you would recognize him from. Others in the film are Alexander DeJordy, who plays Maddie, one of the friends out for the ride. He's, again, one of these things where maybe you know, maybe you don't. Maybe you saw The Good Witch from 2008. That was a TV movie. He's done a few TV movies, actually. But where I would have seen him, even though it was only one episode, was in Dark Net. Loved that series, but yeah, he didn't ring any bells. So it is what it is. Then there is, no, I don't want to do him. Allison, played by Sasha Clements. Now, Allison is she is made out to be we'll call her the witch. She is the witch of the group. And she does a fantastic job in that role. I wouldn't have seen her because this is a bit part. She played the robber girl in the Snow Queen TV movie. And she was in, an episode of Lost Girl. But, yeah. Not somebody I had ever seen before, and anything in her, not a very large filmography, but anything she's been in hasn't been that crazy. New to the group is Bree, played by Humberly Gonzalez, and she's kind of put in there as... she's made out for people to hate her, and so she really, honestly, she isn't in the film that much. I don't know that I've seen anything she's in, but you may have seen the 2018 TV movie Killer High, which she was in and played Rosario. I haven't seen it, so I got nothing on her. Then there is Todd, played by Kyle Mack. Of course, a lot of these people are paired up, they're boyfriend and girlfriends and such like that. Now, Todd has a pretty decent filmography behind him. There's a lot of, if you watched the miniseries Valemont, he was Leonardo. He's been in things like Murdoch Mysteries and Nikita. He was in Haven and Defiance. But where you're probably going to know him most from is the 2013 Carrie movie where he played Kenny. And was that it? I think that was it for him. Oh, he was also in the Dark Matter television series. So you may or may not recognize him. There's only one person in this film that I actually recognize, and I even recognize his name, and that's Philip, played by Corbin Bleu. Yes, Corbin Bleu from the High School Musical films. Uh, Oddly enough, I have probably seen him in those. Um, Nurse 3D, the Monkey's Paw remake from 2013. He played Catfish, but I mostly recognized him from Scary or Die 2012, where he played Emmett in that clowned segment. But yeah, he's in all sorts of different things. He started off early with Mystery Men, and he played Johnny in Soldier, the 1998 sci-fi film with Kurt Russell. So, yeah, I will say everybody in this film did a good job acting-wise. I will say that I particularly liked the directing and the camera work, the cinematography, and the fact that most of this takes place inside of the truck. Again, they get stuck out in the snow, a long, far distance away. They don't know where, civilization is. Obviously, cell phones aren't working. So most of the stuff takes place in the truck. So you think about it, this is an actual truck, and the guy, doing the camera work is trying to, not just be static shots of stuff, but try and get different angles, shoot things different ways. And the film actually opens up with a great continuous shot inside the truck while it's moving, and they're driving along, and it's just sort of continually 360ing the scene, which was fantastic. So there's a lot of things that are good. Where I think, and one of the things I should mention is, if you're in for a scary movie and you like the suspense, tension-filled ones, and you're not big into jump scares, you're not big into actually seeing stuff happen, this is probably something for you. I think they did a really good job on producing that tension, that suspense, and it got to me a few moments where it was really, they were really drawing it out. And kudos to the editing, directing, acting, and of course the music and sound design for making that work. I think the film did that very, very well. Where the film is going to probably not work for people is the stupidity of the people involved. Like I said, they're in a truck, they're trapped, out in the middle of nowhere in the forest, and it's snowy, and at first two of them decide, we're going to go back to the main road and try and get help. Cool. Everybody else is like, we're going to stay in the vehicle and try and stay warm. But they continually leave the truck, one person after another, to go find the people who left before, or go get help, or try and help somebody or something. So they're constantly going off instead of staying in the truck. Two, instead of going on the road and walking on the road, they seem to walk into the forest. I didn't quite get that. Like, you would think you would go along the path that you drove in and try and make your way back out, but no, they decide that no, we're going to walk off into the forest and in a direction they don't know where they're going. And three, they keep opening up the doors of this truck, obviously just getting rid of all the heat. They could have all just gone, they had clothes and stuff, they were all dressed for winter, they could have all just stayed in the truck and waited till morning, because temperature was really dropping overnight. That was the big problem, right? It's dark, it's nighttime, it's forest all around, they don't know where they are, and it's cold. So had they just huddled together inside the truck, their body heat would keep the truck warm for a while. They had a bunch of clothes, they could have piled those on. They weren't even wearing toques or hats or all their jackets like they were just nonchalantly going about their way, and kept opening the truck and going outside and coming back in. It's like, you just keep the heat in. They said they had about 2 hours of continuous gas where they could keep the car running. You didn't need to keep it running for 2 hours. Run it for like 15 minutes. It heats up the vehicle. You're good for another half an hour or an hour. Keep doing that, and next thing you know, you've gone through 5 or 6 hours. You should be good. And hey, what do you know? They also had a candle which would heat up the inside. But yeah, that's where I think a lot of people are probably going to find fault with this film and not enjoy it as much as they probably should because of the stupidity of the characters and what they do. There were a few things in terms of continuity or setting. I didn't quite get the whole where they were and positioned and stuff. And people seem to walk in different ways, and and this is part of the problem with the location. It wasn't necessarily their fault. Small budget, small locations, kind of set. You kind of have to deal with it. But I was getting a little confused as to which direction people were going to and coming from. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe it wasn't. But I give this, I'll say it's like a 2.5 out of 5. But because they did the tension suspense so well, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Hopefully this gets out there and people can see it, because I do suggest you check it out. Like I said, they managed to do the creepy, scary thing pretty well, which surprised me. So yeah, that's Witch in the Woods, Canadian film. Yeah, again, I'm gonna give it a recommend. More 31 Days of Horror to come. More Toronto After Dark, most likely. Let's check it out eventually. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.